The materials that I'll be using for this project are numerous. I'm going to begin with the cosmic rings. I'm going to be using 3 different sizes of them. I'm using the 20mm size, and what I have on hand is jet hematite. I'm going to use the 8mm size, and what I have is the crystal Labrador, and the 14mm size is jet hematite. I'm going to use some Potomac crystals, and these are crystal AB in the 2mm size. I may possibly use some bugle beads, and these are the stainless steel ones that I have, but if you use bugle beads, if you want to make this project, you can use any size. This is just, I'm using it because I may possibly wear it, and I have metal allergies, and so it's easier for me to wear and use stainless steel. So these are 10mm. I have some size 15-0 seed beads. The color that I have, the brand is Mayuki, and the color is opaque luster gunmetal. 2 colors of Delica beads. The galvanized silver. These are size 11 Delicas. The galvanized silver and the hematite. Both size 11 Delicas. Then I'm going to use size 11 seed beads. These are Toho, and I'm going to use this for the herringbone necklace / chain. I'm using a toggle clasp. You can use any clasp. I'm going to use a couple of jump rings. These are 6mm stainless steel jump rings. I don't have any more of my stainless steel wire guardians, so I'm going to be using the gunmetal color wire guardians. I don't have any fire line, so I'm going to use this spider wire. I may have to wax it, but this is the 8-pound spider wire that I'm going to use, and it is the white clear color. All right, well, it says translucent as the color. All right, scissors for my fire line. I mean my thread. Sorry, and my beading board. And if you are interested in making this project, you are more than welcome to join me. You need your patience, and you need some time. You're going to have to tell your frustrations to take a hike, because it's not that bad. There are just, numerous things that we have to do, and this is my big holiday project. So I would love for you to make this project and share your pictures with me, but for right now I'm going to start by bezeling my 20mm cosmic ring. I'm going to thread my needle with about a yard and a piece of my thread, and I'm going to string on 52 of my galvanized silver Delicas, and when I come back on, I will have my thread and my needle and my 52 Delicas on the thread, and I need a stop bead, so I'm gonna have something at the end. So I'll see you in a minute. I believe that I neglected to tell you that I was also using a beading needle, and this is one of my size 11 tulip needles. So now we can begin by making a circle. I have my 52 seed beads on, Delica beads on, and I'm going to go back around and to the first, let's focus here, and to the first bead that I started, pull my thread, and we'll make a circle, and we will begin circular peyote stitch. I just want to teach a little lesson before we begin our circular peyote stitch. In peyote stitch, when you string on your first round of beads, this is called rows 1 and 2. So even though I only have one string of beads, my 52, they are referred to as rows 1 and 2 because when we add the next row, it's going to become row 3. And you'll see how that works out after we complete the round. So I'm going to begin with my thread is exiting this one seed bead here, this one Delica bead here. And in order to do peyote stitch, in order to perform that stitch, you string on a bead, and in this case for round 3 I'm using my hematite Delica bead. You skip a bead, which is this next silver, and you pass your needle into the following, and you pull your thread. And we're not going to choke these or anything. We're just going to try to create our peyote formation. So as you can see, I have the silver bead here on the left and the hematite bead that sat right on the side of the silver one. So this is how we begin our peyote stitch. To continue, I'm going to string on a hematite, skip over the next silver, and pass through the following silver bead. And I'm just holding my finger there so that these don't come out of formation. And when I open it up there, you'll see that we are set up for the next. And we're going to continue. String on a hematite bead, skip the next silver, and pass through the following one. And you're going to do this all the way around. And once I get to the other side, before I put on the last bead, I will meet you there. I'm not going to make you watch me do this because it's simple. Just make sure that what you're doing is setting your beads up so that they sit side by side. I have my hematite, I'm skipping one, and I'm passing into the next one. And I don't have a dowel, otherwise I would use that dowel. That would be so much helpful. I just don't have one for this size. And so you just keep going. All right, and I'll meet you at the other side. So I have worked my way around almost back to the other side. We've got some twisting. That's going to be expected. You just want to make sure that you keep the tension tight, taut, but not choking tight. Okay, so I only have a couple more beads to add to my circular peyote stitch. I'm coming out of this silver and I strung on my hematite, and I'm going to pass through the next silver. And now we're at the point where we are going to add our final hematite Delica. I'm coming out of course, the silver, and I'm going to skip over this silver bead here, and I'm going to pass my needle into the following silver bead right here. It's hard to do when you're coming up on the end of your row, but just, try to keep a placeholder like a stop bead like I have, and that will help out a little. So what I really want are my silver beads on the left and my hematite beads on the right. It looks a little messy right now and a little unkempt, but what we're going to do is comb its hair and make it presentable so that we can continue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this wonkiness here because it looks like I'm missing something, but I'm not really missing anything. All the beads are proper, but we just have to make sure they are on the right side. Okay, so right now this is what we have. Make sure that you are in the position where you're going to be passing your needle into now all of the hematite color. And how do we make sure we do that? Well, I ended the row, but I didn't do the necessary step up. The necessary step up is to go up into or down into the bead where you will continue making your bead passes. So I'm stepping up by going into the first hematite bead that I added on in the last round. Now we get to the point where we can see how this is possibly 3 rows. If I start counting right here where my thread is coming out, I'm counting a hematite Delica. That's row number 3. The one in the center is row number 2, and the one over here is row number 1. So that is how you end up with the first 3 rows in peyote stitch. This is not something that I made up. This is as old as time. So what we're going to do now is to prepare to add on our next row, which I'm going back to the silver. And this is going to be easy because you're going to string on a silver and pass through the next hematite. And this is going to help it be a little more stable as we go along. Just make sure that you are not choking your beads. You just want to place them in their formation. Okay? String on a silver, pass through the hematite that's sticking up, and continue this way until you get back to the beginning or the end, and I'm going to meet you there so we can do our step up. All right, this is what we're doing. We're stringing on our 4th row now, which is what we need, just the 4, because we want our outside rows to be silver. I just want to have some texture in this look, and I'm achieving that by alternating the seed bead, the Delica bead colors. All right, so I'll see you when I get to the other side. We're nearing the end of this row, and I am still working with my silver beads, and we're almost here, as is evidenced by not only the place marker stop bead, but the way it looks as we are approaching the end of the row. So now I need to string on my last silver bead, and I'm skipping over this silver bead that's right here, and I'm going to go into the hematite. Let's get some clarity here. I'm a little blurry. Let's see. All right, I'm passing over this silver, and I'm entering into this hematite right there, and I'm pulling my thread. Now, when I began this round, I said that I wanted to end it with the silvers on the outside, but that's not going to be big enough. It's not going to be wide enough. So I'm going to get into position by stepping up. And how do I step up? I pass through the first bead that I strung on in the round that I'm just ending. Okay, so right now this is what we have. If I bring my ring over and I place it here, what's going to happen is you can see that it will go around, but I need something else before I need one more row before I start putting in my 15s, because it's just not wide enough. There's still more width here on the ring than I have created on my peyote stitch. So I'm going to do one more round, and this time I'm going to use my my hematite color. And with this being with my using the hematite color, now this is going to become the bottom of the bezel. So what am I going to do? I'm going to string on a hematite, and I'm going to pass through the next silver bead sticking out. We're going to do this all the way around, and when we get to the other side, we're going to start making our curve. And how do we do that? Well, I'll let you know when we get there. All right, so continue picking up hematite or whatever color you're using. Well, I'm just using my colors. These are, you know, some suggestions that you may want to use, but absolutely use your own colors. But I do suggest something metallic on these the cosmic rings, because they're beautiful. You don't want to cover up all of their beauty, and there's some faceting here on the front of the ring, and we want to make sure we get at least a little of this the beauty coming out. And I just can't do it with my lighting and my camera. So what we'll do is, well, like I said, I will finish this row, and I'll meet you back right before we get to the end, so that we can place the last bead on together and do our step up. We're almost at the end. Again, as is evidenced by my stop bead and the fact that we have a couple open spaces. So I'm going to continue with my last two hematite beads, stringing on and passing through the next silver, and the last one here. You string on, pass through my last silver bead. And some people will do the step up by going through the silver bead and the next bead, and I normally do that when I'm not recording, but I'm trying to get you to see where we are and how we should be doing it. Now, the reason I designated this side here that I'm working on as the bottom is because when I do my decorative 15 seed beads, I want there to be a clear contrast on the top of the cosmic ring. So it doesn't matter with the back. You know, the back it's got some coating on it, and it doesn't really matter if I have a contrast in the back, but it does matter if I have a contrast in the front. I want you to be able to see that silver, and I'm going to do, when we get there, I'm going to do a scallop, so with the 15s. So what we're doing now is the back. We're going to make the curve so that we can safely encase our cosmic ring back here with the 15s. So now that I'm in position, that I stepped up, I'm going to do my rows of 15, and I'm going to do 2 of them. I'm not going to make you watch me do those 2 rows of 15s, but I'm going to pop back on when I'm putting on the last 15 on this side. I've spoken to you about the step up. I want you to remember about the step up, and you know, that's why I went 1 bead at a time. If you have to do that, you do that, but if you're experienced, you know how to do the step up. So we're going to continue with our 15s all the way around, and then we're going to do the second row, and when I have one last 15 to put on, I'll be right back. I'll be on. All right, well, I'm almost done here. With my 2 rows of 15s, if you can see where I am, I'm exiting here, I'm skipping, and I'm going into the next 15 that's sticking up, and I have one more to go, and you'll know that there's one more to go because it looks like there's an extra space. And let me show you what that is. I string on a 15, and I'm going to pass over this bead here, and I'm going to go into the next 15 that's on the bottom. And when I pull, let's see if you can I want you to see where I am. That 15 right there that's on the bottom. And because there's the one that's sticking up there, we can't just go straight into it because we will lose our strength, the integrity of this project. And as you can see, I haven't stepped up, but this looks exactly like the rest of the beads in the round. They're in there. And additionally, if you pull a little tight, you'll see that we have a curve on the bottom, and that curve is going to act as the bezel, the snuggler. So when I put my cosmic ring in there and I flip it over so you can see, it's just that curve just acts like it's snuggled in the bottom of the cosmic ring. And flip it back around, and you're going to see where we're going with this. Now the bezel doesn't have to be, I mean the ring doesn't have to be in the bezel right now as we go around, but I'm going to let you know when it does have to be in. I'm not going to work with it in there, but what I'm going to show you is how I'm going to advance and step up. We're finished now with this side of the bezel. This is the bottom. So there's no need for me to step up into the next 15, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass my needle diagonally through these beads. See this Delica that I'm going into right here, the hematite one, and the next silver. You see that? I'm just passing myself, I'm repositioning myself up to the other side, and I'm going to continue diagonally. The thread is exiting with here this silver, and I'm going to go into this next hematite right here and the next silver, and I'm going to continue by going into the next silver. Actually, I'm not. I like to work going away from me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down into this hematite bead, Delica bead that's next. I'm going to go in right here, and I'm going to do this move. I'm going to go into the next bead. If you can see that my thread, I have the thread coming out of the hematite bead. I'm going to advance into this silver Delica, going in the opposite, going back in the other direction, because I like to work like that, away from me. So that's just for my own comfort. You don't have to do that, but that is for my comfort. Okay, so what we're going to do is the same thing we did on the other side. 2 rows of 15s, and when I get done with my second row of 15s, I'm going to turn the camera back on and show you how to do the scallop. All right, so just do the same thing, doing your first row of 15s, stepping up into this 15 here to begin the second row of it. And when we get here, after the second row, I will meet you here and we will do our scallop. Okay, I'm at the point now where I need to add 2 more 15s, one here and one here, before we do our step up. But before I do that, I'd like to place my ring inside of the bezel. Maybe I should have put that on there after I did the first round. Oh, okay, that's fine. All right. Okay, so it's in there, but we're not snuggled very well. So what I'm doing is using my dexterity. I'm holding my thread with my fingers down here, and I'm just going to use my thumb to push or pull so that we have tightening. Now, the bezel is basically done, but I just need to do my scallop embellishment on the top. But remember, we still have to add in 2 of our size 15 seed beads. So I'm going to do that now. Here. And the last one here. And this one right there. Now, I'm not going to step up right there because I want to work this way. Now I want to work this way. You don't have to do this, but I'm doing this because I feel a little, I don't know, it's just, I'm right-handed and it's just easier for me to work that way sometimes. So what I'm doing now is I'm coming out of this 15 right here. I'm going to pass my needle down into this, actually, yep, down into this Delica, and back up into this size 15 seed bead. Oh, I got my tail in there. At any time you can take that, if you have a stop bead there, you can take the stop bead off and weave that tail into those beads. All right, now at any time you could do that, whenever after you place your stone into your bezel. So at this point now, my thread is exiting this 15. Let me see if I can get a closer view. All right, my thread is exiting this 15 right here, and we're going to continue with our 15s by stringing on one size 15 seed bead. I'm going to pass my needle into the next 15 here, and the next one down here. Did I get off? Okay, I was out of focus. So I passed this one 15. This is the one I strung on right here. All right, I strung that one on, and I passed my needle into the next 15 in line. See that? Then I'm going to continue passing, but I'm going down here now, and here to this 15 and up to the next one that's sticking up. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm stringing on a size 15, and I'm passing my needle through the next 2 15s, except that I'm doing it so that the thread would be hidden. So let's do that again. I'm going to string on, and I think I was out of focus. I string on my 15. I'm going to pass my needle into the next 15 here that's sticking out. Pull. Then I'm going to, I got to stay in focus. Okay. Then I'm going to go into the next one down here. Okay. See that? And then I'm going back into, I'm going to advance into the next one that is sticking up here. So like I said, I think I was out of focus again. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this with you, but can you see the little scallop that we made? We just made two of them, one here and one here. Maybe if I keep my hand like this, I can stay in focus. All right, but I can't, so you can see. All right, I strung on a 15. I'm going to skip over, and I'm just going to pass my needle into the next 15 that's sticking out. The next 15 that's sticking out right here. Okay? Then I'm going to go pass my needle into the next 15, but the one that's down here. I could go straight across into the two that are sticking up, but I feel that I'll have my thread will be showing, that it'll be a breach. So now I'm going into this 15 down here, and then I'm going to continue to advance into the second seed bead that I wanted to go into, but I don't want the thread showing. So that seed bead is the next one that's sticking up right here. Just that one. Okay. And you see my scallop developing there? I've got 3 of them now. 1, 2, 3. All right. So you can continue doing that. I want to show you this. Let me see if I can get this into focus. I want to continue showing it to you, but I'm getting out of focus, and I don't like that, especially if I'm trying to teach you to do something. All right. Thread is exiting here, this 15. Maybe this will help. Let me go into this next one that's sticking up, and the one below it. Those two. Maybe it's my colors that I'm using. All right, those two 15s, and then advancing into the next one that's sticking up. And then continue that all the way around. It's more frustrating for me trying to show this to you and staying in camera. Let's try one more time. String on a 15. Pass through the next one that's sticking up and the one that's diagonally below it. Those two. And then advancing into the next one that's sticking up. Ooh. All right, keep going, keep going, keep doing that. It's going to work out well. And when you get to the other side, don't cut your thread, because we're going to use this. We're making components, and we're going to use that thread to add on to other components. So continue making your scallop, and I will see you at the end. This might be a long video, so I think I may have to break it up into a 3-part. All right, but I'm going to publish them all on at the same time, so don't worry. You don't have to wait for the 3 parts to be different days. All right, see you then. So I've completed my embellishment, that scalloping all the way around, and all I did was the same thing at the end when I put that last 15 on this one here. I'm going to pull it up so you can see. When I pull that last 15 on, all I did was go through that next sticking up seed bead and the one to the right below it. That's all I did. Didn't do anything special or different, but I did not step up because we don't have to, but we do have to position ourselves and in the place that we need to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to advance my needle diagonally into the next Delica here. The next Delica in line, which happens to be that silver one. See it there? And then finally, not finally, I've got 2 more to go. I'm going to go into this right here, this one, and then into the next silver. All right, and just, you know, pull your thread and just leave it right there, just like that. So what I have decided to do is end the video at this point. This is my working thread, the one that I'm pulling on here. This is my working thread, exiting that silver seed bead right there, that silver, sorry, Delica bead right there. This one here is my tail thread. The only thing I'm going to do with my tail thread is put a needle on it and weave it back in the opposite direction, and get rid of the thread. But this is what we have right now. This is what we're working with. That is our 20mm bezeled cosmic ring. Can you see the facets around here? You've got the facets, and I wanted to really bring those out. The color may not be the best, but that's what I have to work with, and I'm trying not to buy things until I use up some of my materials. So right now, this is where we are ending, and when I pick up and do part 2, I'm going to bezel the 14mm cosmic ring. So I'll see you in the next video.